Last season for rebuilding Barcelona, we finished second in the league despite getting 99 points. I've never had that happen to me before, but Real Madrid are not only a beast, but they are our enemy. Also knocking us out of the Champions League, well, beating us in the Champions League final. But the board have backed me this summer. They've given me £123 million to spend, and I've just spent £100 million on one player. Welcome to the video, folks. Here we are on the competitions page, and there's not really a great deal to bring you up to speed on with the competition, other than the fact that in the league we've played for, won for, with 12 points on the board. Real Madrid have also played for and won for with 12 points as well. So we are joint top with Real Madrid. If we have a look at the table in full, you can see that we've scored 15, conceded 2. We've actually been really good. We'll have a look at the transfers first, because before we go through the schedule and show you the few games that we've played, and also bring you up to speed on how we done in the World Club Championships as well. That's not on the competitions page because it's considered last year. But first of all, finances, £188.9 million in the bank. We've still got £26.5 million in the transfer budget. The transfer window has now closed, and we've still got like £300,000 left in the wage budget as well, which overall means that we're doing our part for the finances. If we have a look at our debts and loans, £132.7 million transfer debt, that has gone up, but net debt is 304.3, which has slightly come down. Looking at our projections, they do say that we're going to be doing very well. That end of this season, £243 million in credit, 417 the following season, 574 the season after that. The finances are slowly fixing themselves, which I kind of thought they always would do with it being Barcelona. The game's not going to have them go out of business. We've obviously got people in the background pulling plenty of those levers that we always hear about. In terms of dynamic, the team cohesion is good, the club atmosphere is very good, and the managerial support is very good as well. Frederick Ursnes is a bit unhappy, he wants to start more games. I will do my usual trick of starting him in a few games until he says he's happy again, and then I'll just drop him again. But if we go to the transfers and have a look back here for last season, because there is a couple of things just to mention for last season. Julian Araujo, who is a nobody, plays right back, can play left back, only signed him as a last resort. He was sitting in our second team, our B team, all of the previous 2 seasons. So yeah, a club from Saudi came in for him, Al Hazam, and we sold him for 3.6 million. For why not? Might as well get something for him rather than let him go on a free transfer. We did bring in Ousmane Diomande from Sporting Lisbon for 45 million, rising to 55 million. 21-year-old Ivorian. Anyone that's played Football Manager is probably well aware of Diomande by now. Even if you've not played Football Manager, you've probably heard about him from real life anyway. In this game, he is an absolute beast, and yeah, he's now got a valuation of over 100 million. 4-star current ability with 5-star potential. Elite centre-back. He has a perfectionist personality. Look at his physicals. 17 for stamina, 17 for strength, 16 for stamina, 16 for pace, 18 natural fitness, 16 jumping reach, and then 15, 14 and 15 after that. He's strong, he's quick, he's big, he's tall. He's everything you'd want in a centre-back. In terms of his mentals, he's got 16 for composure and 17 for vision. In terms of his technicals, he's got 16 for passing and 16 for tackling. He's also 15 for marking at the moment. That's going to go into the 16s and turn yellow. I'll be surprised that doesn't happen this season. First touch could well do the same. Same with anticipation and several other, acceleration, balance. A lot of his other stats could well move into the yellow by the end of this season. And he is basically my forever centre-back. He will be here partnering Antonio Silva, which does mean Jules Koundé is not going to get the game time that he has been getting, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. So yeah, Ousmane Diomande, big signing for us, really happy with that. If we then move into the current part of the season, we'll go through the outgoings first. Andreas Christensen has gone to PSG for 36 million, rising to 49 million. I was quite happy with that. Marc-Andre ter Stegen has gone to Bayern Munich for £72 million. He wasn't happy here, so yeah, we let him go. Villa Joana, by the way, has gone on loan to Andorra. He's going to be getting some playing time. Oriol Romeo has gone to Real San Sebastian for £2 million. Ferran Torres has gone to AC Milan for 49.5, rising to 58 million. I didn't really want to sell him, if I'm being quite honest, because he is a very decent player, can play right or left, only 25 years old, a solid Spanish international. I would have preferred to have kept him, but AC Milan came in with a bid. He was interested in talking to them, so I let him go. Alex Valle, who I know this player from my time with Borussia Dortmund at the moment. He's a left back with Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, he's a left back now as well. He looks kind of decent. I mean, he is kind of decent in my Dortmund save. So he's got out on loan. Let's see if he can get some more game time under his belt. He's only 21 years old. He could come back and have some sort of a future with us. Who knows? But for now, he's out on loan. In terms of the ins, which I know is what you really want to know, we'll start off with the worst of the lot. This is just a backup centre-back to make sure we've got numbers. You'll probably never hear me speak of him ever again. Junior Mwanga for £12.5 million from Strasbourg. Yeah, I mean, he's got very good marking. He's got good tackling. He's got some very reasonable physicals about him. He does look better than what his star rating would suggest, and that's why I wouldn't always just go with star rating. Just use that as a guide. Go with the attributes as to what the player is like. But yeah, 22-year-old French lad, not made any international appearances of yet. Yeah, like I say, you'll probably never hear me speak of him ever again, but he's here as backup anyway. Kefram Turam is the big money signing, £100 million from Nice, rising to 120 million, and he looks good. If we look at his attributes, I mean, dribbling, first touch, passing, technique, all 16. Determination 17, vision is 16, really good teamwork and work rate as well. Then you get to his physicals, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, physicals are so important in Football Manager. Acceleration is 16, jumping reach, natural fitness, stamina, all 16. We're building a team that has stamina, has strength, that's naturally fit, and is pretty quick as well. 6'4" as well. He's going to be a danger on set pieces with his 16 jumping reach and his 12 for heading. Could do with that, improving a little bit, I suppose. But yeah, 24-year-old French international, Kefram Turam from Nice. I love that signing, I really do. Georgi Mamadashvili has come in as our goalkeeper to replace Marc-André ter Stegen. £60 million from Valencia. Pay no attention to his star rating because he's got some really decent attributes. His aerial reach, command of area, communication, reflexes, all in the yellow. Everything else is really decent. Same with his mentals. Everything we need him to be, he's more than decent at. His free kick taking's gone down. I mean, I don't suppose he's going to be taking many free kicks, but he is a commanding goalkeeper. So, yeah, very pleased to have this Georgian international, 24 years old. He's going to fit in very well at this club. Then Ferdi Kaliolu from Inter Milan for 66 million. What was that rising to? 65 million, raising to 73 million. And Ferdi, as he likes to be called, not Mr. Kaliolu. Left back, right back, play both areas. He's fitting in at right back for us at the moment. We have Balde over on the left, of course. And again, stamina 16, natural fitness 16, acceleration 16. He's got reasonable strength. He's got good pace. Really 16 for natural fitness, really good natural fit. Again, builds into that whole, has stamina, has natural fitness, has pace, has strength. 5'9", right back, left back. Yeah, there's no negatives for that for me. Got a value of up to £144 million as well. So we've really got some players in here now with some real value in them that if we want to sell them on, we really could do. Right, let's have a look at the schedule. And bit of a spoiler there, we did win the World Club Championship. We beat Real Madrid in the final on penalties. If we have a look back at last season, we can see that this was our draw for the group that we had. Group C, we were drawn against ES Tunis, Benfica and Monterrey. And then we won that group. 5-0 win against Tunis. A 3-1 win against Benfica and a 3-0 win against Monterrey. We then had Boca, who I've got to admit are a club I'm kind of looking at wanting to manage in my unemployed journeyman at some point anyway. But yeah, we beat them 3-1 in the second round. We then beat Bayern Munich in the quarterfinal 3-1 and Porto in the semi-final 2-1. 2 goals from Lois Openda in that game. That then moves us on to the final, where, as we've already said, we beat Real Madrid on penalties, 1-1 after 90 minutes. Eder Militao getting on the score sheet for them, Endrick having one disallowed, Openda equalising. Then it went to penalties. Silva did miss for us, but he was the only one that did miss. They had Ceballos and Stanisic missing for them. When you look at the actual stats for the game, it was a very even game. Very even in terms of shots on target, XG, possession, passes completed. It was a very even game. And yeah, finished 1-1 as you expect. Pre-season has been pre-season. We lost against Alba with a very, very heavily rotated team. We drew against Alba. Then we lost against Bayern Munich 3-1 with a pretty strong team, full strength team pretty much in that game. But then we had some easy friendlies that we picked up some easy wins in. We then started the season against Sevilla in the league. Away from home, a 3-0 win. Lois Openda, Lamine Yamal and Pedri getting on the score sheet in that game. Diomande and Silva doing well on their debut. Same with Mamardashvili. Pedri having a great game with an 8.1 and Lois Openda also in a great game with an 8. Then we played against Almeria at home, a 3-0 win in that game. Pedri, Ansu Fati and Lois Openda getting on the score sheet in that game. It's really nice seeing Openda scoring, seeing as he is our main striker. Atletico Madrid were up next, and I was shocked at this result. I thought this was, bear in mind it's away from home as well, I thought this was going to be a lot closer than it turned out to be. But a 5-1 win against Atletico Madrid. We were 5-0 up before João Felix got his consolation goal. Frederic Ursnes getting on the score sheet. Antonio Silva with 2 from corners. And Valentin Carboni, our young wonder kid striker, getting 2 goals as well. And then against Alaves at home, a 4-1 win. Gavi, Carboni, Pedri, Rafinha, all getting on the score sheet in that game too. So that's our 4 from 4 in the league. And everything, like I say, is looking really, really good. In terms of the youth candidate, I don't know if I actually showed you, it doesn't show us their previous youth intake. Hopefully I showed you that in the last video. I can't remember, I've got to be honest. But yeah, everything's looking really rather good. We are doing very well. We've still got the Champions League to start. Let me show you the Champions League draw, or our list of fixtures anyway. We start off with a home game against Manchester City. I mean, what a way to start. Then we've got Benfica, who we've beaten in the group stage of the World Club Championship. Then we have Galatasaray away from home, Club Brugge away from home, Arsenal away from home, another really tough tie. Atletico Madrid away from home, Real San Sebastian in the Super Cup semi-final, but then carrying on in the Champions League, we've got Aston Villa at home and Bayer Leverkusen at home. That is not a straightforward group, I have to say. That is quite a list of fixtures. If we actually filter it down to just the Champions League, Man City will be very tough. Benfica we should beat, Galatasaray we should beat, Club Brugge we should beat, Arsenal will be very tough, that's away from home as well. Atletico Madrid, I don't think the 5-1 win we had against them is typical of what will normally happen between us and them. And away from home as well, I'm expecting a tough game there. Villa, we should win that at home. Bear in mind, though, they are an English team, and English teams do tend to be quite OP in the game. And then Bayer Leverkusen at home, we should really win that. So qualification from the group stage should not be an issue at all. I would absolutely expect that by the time you see me in part 2 of the video, I'm telling you that we've all but qualified from the Champions League group stage. We will just have, we would have played all of our Champions League games because we would be coming back around here. So yeah, I'm going to play up to the end of the next transfer window off camera. I'll see you in part 2. How is our new look-ish team going? How are we doing in the Champions League? How are we doing in the league? All that sort of stuff. If you want to have a look, here's the team that we are pretty much is their first choice team. Mamardashvili in goal, Balde left back, Ferdi right back, Antonio Silva and Diomande in defence. With the exception of Balde, all of the back 4, or back 5 if you include the goalkeeper, are new. Thuram, Gavi and Pedri in these midfield areas. Thuram's obviously new. Fati and Yamal out wide with Openda up top. These two and these two obviously have been here from the start. Balde has been here from the start as well. The rest of the team is what we've brought in, what we've done. And it's going to be interesting as well to see what I do in the next transfer window, because we're basically just going to be buying someone that is a phenomenal player, because this is hard to improve upon, I've got to say. But let's move over to part two, where hopefully I've not made the comments I've just done look a little bit silly. Oh, we are a good team, and I'm going to call it now. I think we're winning the league comfortably. I think we can win the Champions League as well. We have already won the Spanish Super Cup. We'll get into that when we get into the fixtures. In the Spanish Cup itself, we are playing Ibiza in the fourth round of the competition, and then if we win that, we get through to the quarterfinals against Cadiz. The board expectation is we win the Spanish Cup, so you know we need to try and at least get to the final, I'd say, for them to be relatively happy. In terms of the Champions League, 8 games played, 8 wins, 24 points, top of the group, absolutely amazing. And in the league, in the first division, get away. We've played 22, won 20, drawn 1, lost 1. Goal difference of plus 49, 61 points. We are 7 points ahead of Real Madrid, who are second, and we have a game in hand over them. And we're 13 points ahead of Atletico Madrid, who are third. So in the league, actually, we do have 1 draw, 1 defeat. We went something like 16 league games. We won every single one of them. It has been so much fun managing this Barcelona team. It really has. Let's have a look at the schedule then, at when the season started. You would have already known about these games here. We then went on, played Valencia away from home in the first division. A 1-0 win in that game, a bit frustrating. We should have actually scored more than what we did. We then played Manchester City in our first Champions League game, a 1-0 win at home at the Camp Nou. If we have a look at the actual stats for it, very even game, as you can see, in terms of possession. Even shots on target was pretty even, but 12 shots on goal, a 2.54 XG to a 0.05. In terms of XG and total number of shots, we were the dominant team, and we missed some glorious chances with the ones that were off target. Then we played Cadiz at home in the league, a 4-1 win in that game. Athletic Bilbao was next away from home, a 2-0 win in this game as well. We did rotate a team. We've rotated our team quite a bit this season, and it's so nice having this second string side that is good enough to actually rotate and have confidence in. I mean, I wouldn't play that team against Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid or anyone like that, but against some of the weaker opposition in the league and in the Champions League, absolutely no reason why we can't. Then we played Real Hispalis at home, a 2-0 win in that game. Luis Openda getting 2 goals. Benfica were up next in the Champions League, and we won that 2-1. Usnes and Yamal getting on the score sheet in that game. Granada were up next in the league, away from home, a 1-0 win. Gavi with the goal in that game. Then we played Real Madrid at home and a 1-0 win. Kefren Turam, a £120 million central midfielder, getting on the score sheet for us there. Then we played Galatasaray, again a much rotated side in this one, and a 5-0 win. Vitor Roque, who has since gone out on loan. Rafinha, Pau Kabassi, Noah Darvic and Valentin Carboni. Then we had Vallecano away from home in the league, a 3-0 win, 2 more goals for Openda. Girona were up next at home in the league, a 4-1 win, 2 more goals for Openda, 1 for Yamal and 1 for Hector Fort. Then Levante in the league at home, a 4-2 win in that game. Our £120 million midfielder getting 2 goals in that game. I'm never going to tire of saying that, because I can't believe I spent £120 million on a defensive midfielder, basically. Then we had Club Brugge with, again, a much rotated squad. Our wonder-kid striker, Valentin Carboni, getting a hat-trick in that game. Real Mallorca were up next. They were sent down to 10 men early doors in the 18th minute, but a 3-0 win away from home against them. Carboni with another couple of Rafinha, and again, a much rotated team. Then it was Real San Sebastian, a 3-0 win at home with Openda getting a couple of goals in that game, as well as Gavi. Then we had Arsenal in the Champions League away from home. 2-0 up through Ferdi Kadiolu and Lamine Yamal before Martin Odegaard pulled it back to make it 2-1. Atletico Pamplona were up next away from home in the league. A 3-2 win in that game. It was a lot closer than what I would have wanted it to be. They actually went 1-0 up through Aymar in the 56th minute. Thuram getting the equaliser, then Openda with a penalty, then Openda putting us 3-1 up with his second goal of the game, and then they got one back in injury time at the end of the game. Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, a 3-1 win. We already beat them 5-1 early on in the season. Openda with a goal, Fati with a goal, and Ousmane Diomande with a goal as well. Villarreal, this was the first time we actually dropped points in any game all season, whether it's the league or the Champions League, anything. A 0-0 draw against Villarreal, really disappointing, really. It was away from home. And as you can see, we were the better team. There weren't too much in it, but we had slightly better XG. We had more shots at goal and on target, 60% possession, much better pass completion rate as well. But yeah, we were just pretty inept in front of goal, in all honesty. Then after Villarreal, we played Sporting Gijon, or however you pronounce it, and a 6-0 win in this game. I think this was their biggest win so far of the season. Goals from Diomande, Darvic, Rafinha, Anguissa, Dest and Gavi. It was a much rotated side. Diomande did play, who wouldn't normally be in this team, but even Iñaki Pina was in goal for us. So yeah, very much a rotated side. Bit disappointing when we scored 6 goals that Carboni didn't get one of them. That is a bit disappointing, really. Then we had Albacete in the league, 3-0 win at home against them. Openda with a hat-trick. Almeria was then our first defeat, or only defeat of the season. I'm assuming that's not the Luis Suarez. No, it's not. It's a different Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez getting a goal in the 85th minute. And yeah, it just feels like a really disappointing game to lose when you consider the teams we've beaten. The fact that we were the better team. I mean, they only had 2 shots on target, 3 shots in goal. We had 16 shots, 4 on target. Their XG 0.38, our XG 2.13. What was quite surprising though is they had a pass completion of 91%, but they actually dominated us in terms of possession. So that was quite a shock and surprise. Then came Real San Sebastian in the the Super Cup semi-final. We won that 5-2 after extra time. It was 2-2 after 90 minutes. We went 1-0 up through Openda. They then went 1-1 8 minutes later. We then went 2-1 up through Openda, and they equalised straight away from kickoff. So 2-2 after extra time, but then goals in extra time from Gavi, Serginho Dest, and an own goal from Morero put us through to the Super Cup final, where we played Atletico Madrid. And Atletico Madrid put out Real Madrid in the previous round, and they missed 2 penalties. We didn't miss any of ours. We do actually have a pretty decent record at penalties. Rafinha, Fati, Silva and Pedri getting the goals in the Super Cup final. So yeah, that was our first trophy of the season. Well, second if you include the World Club Championship that's this season, not last season. Then we had Sevilla at home in the league, a 2-0 win, Openda and Thuram getting on the score sheet. Tarragona were up next in the Spanish Cup third round. And yeah, much rotated team. Bit disappointed we only won 1-0, to be honest, because Tarragona, I think they're a third division team here in Spain. As you see, we absolutely dominated. 5 shots on target to their 1, 77% possession. Much better pass completion than them. We dominated the game, but again, we just didn't score the goals that we should have scored. And that has happened a couple of times this season where we should have done better than we did, but it is what it is. We won the game. Then we played Aston Villa in the Champions League group phase, of course. A 3-1 win here. Pedri with 2, Fati with 1. And Yamal has picked up a slight injury, but yeah, good performance. Enjoyed that. Good win. Atletico Madrid were next up in the league at home. A 2-1 win in that game. 2-0 up through Lois Openda and Ansu Fati. And then Marcus Llorente getting them a consolation on the 95th minute. And in the most recent game we played against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League group phase, rounding off the Champions League for us, a 4-0 win, 2 goals from Openda, 1 from Pedri and 1 from Yamal. Ansu Fati has picked up an injury. It's a twisted ankle, it's going to keep him out for a few weeks. Now, talking of injuries, there's one man that I said I was never going to mention for the rest of this save properly, and that's our new signing, Junior Mwanga. And yeah, like I said, I did say I was never going to mention him ever again, but he's been injured pretty much since day one. He made one substitute appearance for us early doors, and then he picked up a hip injury, and that kept him out for 4 months, I think it was, and he's still out now for up to 11 days. So yeah, that's one way of making sure you don't play for me, isn't it? In terms of the actual injuries, it's been a bit up and down. We have had a bit of a peak October, November time, come back down again in December, but then went back up again in January. But injuries are what injuries are. In terms of dynamics, team cohesion is excellent, club atmosphere is excellent, managerial support is very good. And Guisa wants to start more games, so I am starting him a bit more often in that central midfield role. And Firmin wants to leave because he wants to get more playing time. I have agreed that I will sell him. The transfer window has obviously come and gone, and he's not gone anywhere. In terms of the transfer window, obviously nobody else has come in. In terms of players going out, there's been a few small ones. I mean, Vita Roque has gone out on loan to Almeria, £950,000 loan fee. Albert Navarro has gone to Malaga. Quim Junient has gone to Valencia both of those on a free. Shane Clivert has gone to Santander on a loan. But yeah, nothing else, no ins or big outs or anything like that. In terms of the youth intake, if we have a look up here, it says a good intake. Strikers is A, centre backs is B, goalkeepers and wingers are a C. I'm not expecting a great deal, but if we get a decent centre back or striker or something like that come through, obviously I won't say no to it. So if we have a look just quickly at the squad screen and have a look at goals and assists kind of thing, let's try and move so we see who some of the players are. In terms of goals scored, it won't surprise you that Lois Openda, 27 goals and 3 assists from 27 appearances, 2 of those appearances as a substitute. He has been sensational. He is a phenomenal striker, and I am loving having him around. Valentin Corboni as his backup, 9 starts, 6 substitute appearances. That's 15 appearances in total, 10 goals. He's been very good as well, and we really do probably need to try and find more of a way of getting him into the side. Then Pedri is next up on the scoring charts with 7 alongside Ansu Fati. Yamal and Gavi are on 6 with Kefram Turam, 5 goals and an assist from a defensive midfield position is not bad at all. Rafinha's got 4 goals and 8 assists as well. If we have a look at our assist charts, it's quite amazing really that Frederick Unses has got 13 assists and 2 goals. He has played 31 games, but 16 of those have been starts, 15 are a subs appearance. He does really well for us when he's actually in the side. Ansu Fati, 11 assists. Then we've got 9 from Gavi, 8 from Rafinha, 7 from Ferdy as our attacking right back. I would have wanted a few more than that, to be honest. And then you're down to 3s and 2s and whatever else. In terms of average rating, can we find the average rating? There we go, the average rating. Our best player on the average rating chart, our top 3, really. Carboni, I'm not going to include Pina. So Fati 3, Carboni 2, Openda, our best player. I mean, like I say, he has been sensational. I'm quite surprised he's only got a value of up to £83 million because he is just amazing. If we have a look at, he joined us last season, got 19 goals from 17 appearances from January or February onwards at 7.48. And I was worried that was just going to be a one-off. I've had that with strikers before in FM where they joined me in January and they have an amazing start to life. But then when they do a full season, it's a bit of a drop-off. Still good or decent, but just not as prolific as what they were. But this first half and a bit of the season, 16 appearances, 19 goals, 3 assists, 4 player of the match awards at 7 point. He's got the same amount of goals in 1 game less, 1 more assist, and he's got a higher average rating as well. So, yeah, I am expecting him to increase his value for sure. What's his negative? He's got a negative. I want to know what that is. Has no strong feelings about me. Oh, okay, fine. Even though I am in his favour personnel, we're very close and he holds me in the highest regard as a manager, yet he has no strong feelings about squad support for me. Okay, let's have a look at the hierarchy. Why not? It's kind of become a thing by now. Nobody opposes me, which is lovely. 19 support me, including all 3 of my team leaders. We have had bids from Rafinha as well from Saudi Arabia. I don't know if it's still going to show us in this section. No, it's not. But yeah, we had two bids from Saudi Arabia. They weren't the Saudi Arabian club that he wanted to go to. One of the offers was for 92 million, the other was for 132 million. And it's obviously all broke up in add-ons, and if he scores this amount of goals and plays this amount of games and instalments and all that sort of stuff. I think the most we was getting up front was about 78 million up front. He's got a value of 138 million. If someone wants him, they could pay me anything between 138 to 150 million, and I'd accept that quite nicely. Looking at the finances, 37.1 million in the transfer kitty. We're obviously not going to spend that now. We'll see what we end up with for the summer transfer window when that comes around in part 3. We've got 3.6 million in the wage budget. We've got like £200,000 nearly. I think it's about £180,000 left of the wage budget, £168,000 left of it. And finances, £144.4 million in credit there. If we have a look at our debts and loans, 102.7. This is now down to below 300 million. So we are getting there. We are getting the club back on an even keel. Projections still looking very nice as well. And that's probably about it, really. So join me back here for part 3, where the real question is going to be, can we win La Liga? Can we win the Champions League, and who will we beat on the way? And can we win the Spanish Cup? And how many goals is Lois Openda going to get? Because I think it's not unreasonable, considering he's got 26 goals in all competitions. I want that to hit 40. The answer to that question is yes, he can. In fact, he's got 44 goals in all competitions from 51 appearances. Add the 4 assists as well. That's 48 goal contributions from 51 games all season. If we have a look at his league tally, 30 goals, 30 appearances, 7.58. Lois Openda is phenomenal. He really is. Ignore the arrows going down. We're basically at the end of the season, so he's in holiday mode. I'll forgive him for that. But yeah, he has been an absolute beast in both the season and a half he's been with us. He's got 49 goals in 47 appearances. I just don't know. For 73 million, that is worth it. I mean, what is Haaland up to these days? Is he's still at Manchester City? I mean, he's only got 20 goals this season from 29 appearances. 15 in the league, 17, 14. I mean, back here when he first joined, 36. I mean, he's pretty ordinary since, isn't he? I mean, granted, not in real life, but in terms of FM, Lois Openda is, I mean, what Erling Haaland got there in 29 games, Lois Openda got last season, I think the same amount of that, but in like 10, 12 games less. So, yeah, 19 from 17. There you go. So, I would take Lois Openda all day, every day. Right, let's bring you up to speed on what's been happening, because we have been fantastic. We won the Spanish Super Cup, as you would have known. The Spanish Cup, we were runners-up in that, unfortunately. We did lose 2-1 to Real Madrid. I mean, basically, it's us versus Real Madrid in everything. Runners-up against Real Madrid in the Spanish Cup. The UEFA Champions League, we won on penalties against Real Madrid. And not only did we win it on penalties, we went 10-9 on penalties. This was a phenomenal game. And, look at all of these penalties. It got down to the 2 goalkeepers, and Mamadashvili scored his penalty to win the game after Thibaut Courtois had missed his penalty. Openda getting an equaliser for us after Camavinga had given Real Madrid the lead. But 4 shots each on target, 9 shots on goal to their 7, 56-44 possession. It was a very close game, as you can see. We did have Anguissa go off injured right at the end of extra time, and Ceballos went off for them right at the end of extra time too. So if we actually have a look at the schedule, we can see what happened since you were last with us at the beginning of February. We was about to play Alaves, and as you see down here, this was around the time where we were pushing to win the league. We was like a couple of wins away from winning the league, and we just couldn't get the job done. And I was starting to get a little bit worried because Real Madrid were closing the gap. Away from home, though, against Alaves, we won 3-1 in that game. Against Ibiza in the Spanish Cup, we won 4-0 away from home. Cadiz were next up in the Spanish Cup quarter-final. We won that 1-0. And then Sevilla in the Spanish Cup semi-final first leg, a 2-0 win in the away leg there. Then we played Cadiz again in the league and won 1-0, followed by Athletic Bilbao, a 3-0 win in that game as well. Sevilla in the Spanish Cup semi-final second leg, a 1-0 win, a Lois Openda penalty in the second minute. Then we had the start of our Champions League knockout phase. We had Aston Villa up first. We drew the first leg 1-1, which was away from home, and the home leg we won 3-0. In between that, we lost in the league against Real Madrid away from home 2-0. Then after the game against Aston Villa, we had Vallecano, a lovely 4-0 win there, a 4-0 win against Valencia as well, followed up by a 1-0 win against Levante away from home, and a 2-0 win at home against Granada. Then we had Mallorca at home and another 1-0 win in that game. Then we had Liverpool in the Champions League, a tough away leg, 1-1 draw in that game. Ansu Fati rescuing a goal for us in the 82nd minute. Real San Sebastian were up next in the league and a 2-0 win in that game. Then the return leg against Liverpool, and despite Mo Salah equalising a minute after Gavi gave us the lead in the 8th minute, we did go on to win that one 3-1 and progress to the semi-finals. Then we had the defeat against Real Madrid in the Spanish Cup final. The last 2 times we played them, they've beaten us. Real Hispalis was a 1-1 draw. This is where it kind of went away a little bit, because I was hoping we could win against Hispalis and Pamplona. And if we could do that, we would basically have the league all wrapped up, and we can then rest players for the Girona game and in the few games afterwards. Wasn't to be that way. A 2-2 draw against Atletico Pamplona. They equalised in the 95th minute. That is disgusting. Then we had Real Madrid. I got Real Madrid on the brain. Then we got Bayern Munich in the Champions League semi-final first leg. A 3-1 win in that game. Lois Openda with a penalty on 19 minutes before Kingsley Coman equalised. And then Ferdi Cadiolu on 43 and Lois Openda with a goal on 79, making it 3-1. We then drew 1-1 with Girona, followed up by a 0-0 draw in the away leg against Bayern Munich. It's kind of a theme here that we kind of get the job done without winning in the away leg, but then are able to win the home leg. So that puts through to the final of the Champions League. We then played Villarreal, and this was very, very soothing for me. I really enjoyed this. A 6-0 win against Villarreal. Gavi and Rafinha both getting 2 goals. Lois Openda and Antonio Silva also on the score sheet. Sporting Gijon were up next, and it was a 4-2 win for us. Openda with another couple of goals. Gavi and Rafinha on the score sheet there. And Albacete were the last game of the season, a 3-2 win. We got the winner from Valentin Carboni in the 94th minute. And talking of Carboni, because he is I don't think he's a wonder kid anymore, he's 21 years old. But our previous wonder kid striker, attacking midfielder, right-sided winger, could probably do a job on the left as well if we wanted him to. He's had a pretty decent season, 26 appearances, 12 of those as a sub, 14 goals at an overall rate of 7.25. As backup to Openda, he's been fantastic, and he's worth quite a bit of money as well. And then obviously we had the Champions League final with the 1-1 draw and the win 10-9 on penalties in front of 81,000 people in the Stade de France. So yeah, if we have a look at dynamics, the dynamic screen, we've got cohesion is excellent, club atmosphere is excellent, managerial support is excellent. For finances, now we have got over £100 million in bank, and we've got a load of money still to come in from the league and whatever else. We did have a transfer budget of 250 million. I think it was 249.7 million, something like that. But a transfer budget of £250 million. I have spent some money. I have already got 3 players lined up to come in for the start of next season, but I'm not going to unveil them now. I'm going to unveil them in the part 1 of next week's video. So you have to tune in for that to see what wonderful players we've got lined in. And I'm really excited by 2 of them. Let's just say one of them I'm also excited about, but he's more of a wonder kid type signing rather than a signing for now. But yeah, we still have 118 million pounds to spend, and that's before you include any potential sales. And in terms of potential sales, there are a few players that could be leaving. I mean, Mwanga may well be leaving. He is wanted. If someone comes in for him, we'll probably let him go, to be honest. Frederick Orsnes is wanted by Saudi Arabia. He has a value, if we can click on his name, He has a value of up to 45 million. If we can get anywhere near that, we probably will take it for someone who's 30 years old now. And Rafinha is also wanted by Saudi Arabia as well, I think it is. Yeah. So he has a value of around 60 million. If we can get money in for him, 29 years old, will be 30 by next Christmas, or this Christmas coming, I should say, in this year in game. Mika Faye's wanted. Sevilla are interested in him. He'll only get us a few million quid. Yeah, 8.6 million potentially. But I'll be happy for him to go because he will then release a place in the squad. We have had a couple of players that we brought in from the youth team, and Armando, one of them, he's 17 now. He was 16 at the time. He's 2-star current ability with 5-star potential. Got some okay attributes. He's already made his international debut for Spain. So clearly Spain see him as being very, very good. And then you've got obviously the value of him as well. He's already up to 23 million on that. So he's looking promising. And he's someone I want to kind of try and keep around if I can. Juan Hernandez is another one that we've had brought through into our team. Not much by way of potential and whatever else. He's not made his international debut or anything. But in 7 appearances as a start, 2 as a sub appearance, that's 9 in total. 1 goal, 2 assists at 7.16. He actually looks pretty decent. And as a squad player to help us fill European registration stuff, he could absolutely do the job for us, no doubt about that. So the job I've got now is to try and work out who else we can bring in that's going to improve what we've already got. And I think what we'll do now is go over to the end of season review and have a look at that. Here we are for the end of season review. Some lovely little trophies on here. We've got the Spanish First Division, the Champions League and the Spanish Super Cup. What they're not showing is we also had the World Club Championship, but that was after the last end of season review and before this one, and for some reason it doesn't get included in either. So I'm a little bit upset about that because that's actually a 4th trophy for this season. Right, let's get into the end of season review. In terms of signings, they've gone with Georgi Mamadashvili as their star signing. 60 million from Valencia, 57 appearances at average rate of 7.18. Very good. He's certainly done the job that we need him to do. Ousmane Diomande coming from Sporting Lisbon for 55 million. 45 appearances, 3 goals, 3 assists at 7.15. He has been part of a rock-solid defence, along with Mamadashvili as well. Kefram Turam, our £120 million signing, comes in from Nice. 43 appearances, 7 goals, 1 assist at 7.13. He's been very good. I have enjoyed him. Ferdi Kadiolu from Inter Milan for 73 million. 53 appearances, 2 goals, 8 assists at 7.06. And then there's this guy that's come in for 12.5 million from Strasbourg and not really done much of anything. I'd say out of all of these, Ousmane Diomande is probably my signing of the season, but I don't disagree with Mamadashvili. He's won the Golden Glove. He's kept the most clean sheets. He's just been all-round awesome. In terms of the players out, Julian Araujo went to Al Hazm for 3.6 million. He's had a pretty decent time there, to be fair, so well done to him. Ferran Torres has done well at AC Milan, £58 million, 30 appearances, 11 goals, 2 assists at 7.31. Marc-Andre ter Stegen has gone to Bayern Munich and been their first choice goalkeeper and had a really good season. Andreas Christensen has gone to PSG for 49 million. Looks like he's been very heavily used, 30 starts, and has done very well. 2 goals, 1 assist as well, so well done to him. Sergio Roberto has gone to Villarreal on a free transfer and made 5 sub appearances. Yeah. And Oriol Romeu, we let go for 2 million to Real San Sebastian, and he's had an okay season for them as well. In terms of the loans out, this is who's gone out and where they've gone to and whatever else. Vitor Roque is due to come back to the club. Firmin, on the other hand, there is in his contract an optional future fee of 5.5 million. When we look at what he's been used for, 2 starts, 9 sub appearances, I don't think they're going to be keeping hold of him. I will be looking to try and move him on, but that might be a bit of a struggle as well. Right, the season's results in the league. Our average attendance has been 92,597. Lewis Openda, the top scorer. We won the league. I mean, just look at all these wins at the start of the season. We were just 4 draws, 2 defeats. The 4 draws away to Girona, at home to Atletico Pamplona, away to Real Hispales and away to Villarreal. The 2 defeats away to Real Madrid and away to Almeria. The Almeria one really does confuse me, but yeah, we were just poor. Real Madrid, they were on quite the unbeaten run towards the end of the season. Valencia, Levante and us away from home were their only losses. If we have a look at their actual schedule, they lost a Champions League game here. They drew a league game there and obviously lost that. But prior to that, in the league, they were pretty much winning everything. And, you know, that the last league game they lost was here against Valencia and didn't lose another league game for pretty much the entire rest of the season. They were really, really tough to shake off. And if we see the table, we did only win it by 5 points. We got 100 points this season, one better than last season. Real Madrid slightly off it, got about 10 points less than they did last season. Atletico Madrid third, Sevilla fourth, Valencia fifth, get through to the Champions League because of the coefficient. Then Real Hispales and Almeria get through to the Europa League play. I didn't realise Almeria actually done that well. And then Girona get through to the Conference League places. Champions League, we've won. We didn't lose a single game in the entire competition. We drew against Aston Villa and Liverpool away from home in the knockout stages. But other than that, we won every single game. We were just so good. Lois Openda, top scorer for us with 9 goals. Then the Spanish Cup, losing to Real Madrid in the final, but beating Tarragona, Ibiza, Cadiz and Sevilla before that. Runners up, another good healthy attendance as well. And then there's the Super Cup, Real San Sebastian and Atletico Madrid. Moments to remember, the 6-0 win against Gijon was the biggest win of the season. It was also the goal of the season from Serginho Dest, a top draw goal from Los Culés right wing back Dest as he hits a curled effort from 24 metres. And the match to remember was a 4-0 win against Valencia. In terms of the finances, I mean, we're 5-star worldwide, we know that. Sponsorship up by 9 million. Broadcast revenue somehow has gone down. I'm not really sure how it's gone down. It's gone down by like 15 million. Corporate and hospitality has gone up by a few million. Competition prize money has gone up by 8 million. And matchday commercial retail has gone up by about 3 million. Total merchandise sales, 87.3 million. Shirt sales, 1.6 million. Gavi, Pedri, Fati, Openda and Thuram being amongst their highest shirt sellers. I'm glad Thuram's there because it kind of justifies buying him a little bit for that much money as well. And look at that. Everyone is green in our best 11. They've gone for Mamadashvili, Balde and Ferdi out wide, Diamandi and Antonio Silva in the centre. Completely agree. Thuram, Ursnes, Gavi. Well, I'd have Pedri in there, but he has been injured for the last 3-4 months of the season, got injured on international duty. Ansu Fati and Yamal out wide with a Openda up top. I can't really argue a great deal with that. Looking at this, our worst player on this list is either Ferdi or Balde at 7.06. If that's the worst we're doing for the season, then we're doing something pretty well. In terms of the accolades, Manager of the Month for August, September and October, and Manager of the Year in that as well. Record breakers, most assists by a player in the season, Frederick Orsnes with 17 assists. Most clean sheets by a player in the season, Mamadashvili, 31 clean sheets. Most player of the match awards in the season, Openda with 12. In terms of the player awards, Openda is the fans player of the season. Gavi is the young player of the season. Sign of the season is Georgi Mamadashvili. Goal of the season, as we've seen, is Serginho Dest. Lois Openda, top goal scorer. Most assists is Frederick Orsnes. Most player of the match awards is Lois Openda. Highest average rating is Lois Openda. And most passes completed per 90 minutes. Guess who? No, not Lois Openda. Pau Kobasi with 76. Well done to him. Titles are won and lost in the heart of every season, and that's been the case of Barcelona as they celebrate winning the title. Barcelona dared to dream, and thanks to a great run of results in the middle of the season, their dreams came true. And the manager timeline is what the manager timeline is, as I always say. Supporter profile, the core has gone down to 17%. Family has gone up to 23%. Fair weather has gone up to 23%, and casual has gone down to 27%. The sports influence is still low. 77.8 million followers on social media. That's up by 10.2 million. And we have 146,000 supporters on the waiting list. So, yeah, everything's looking really rather good in that one. The club expectation, I mean, they're going to want us to win the league. Yeah, win the first division, challenge for the Champions League. We'll just accept that. There's no point debating it. Squad dynamics, we've already seen that. End of season team meeting, we basically just need to tell them. I mean, in theory, this is the easiest team talk you're ever going to do. First division, congratulations on winning. It's a great tune, but that was the easy part. The job now is to make sure we retain it next time round. There you go. They're happy. That's the sort of reaction I was after, and let's leave the room while you are still all happy. Then, looking through the rest of this, where is it? So there's Pedri. He's been out for 2 months so far. He's had 4 injuries. This one he's got at the moment is his big injury of the season. And Junior Mwanga was obviously out for 3 months as well. So we've had a few big injuries, but I'm fed up of moaning about injuries. We know we can recruit, blimey, we can recruit another 4 scouts, because we've already got some places empty anyway, and another, is that right? Another 4 coaches. I mean, we're already the best at everything. We can have 4 more coaches, 4 more scouts. Okay, if I'm allowed to have them, I will have them. Recruitment meeting, we'll just quickly go through that. I don't do anything with these recruitment meetings, to be honest. I think they're a waste of my time. Openda has won the latest Player of the Month award. If we go back to the finances, have a look at the debts and loans, the transfer debt is down to 81 million. The net debt is now that's gone up. That was below 300 million last. I don't know how we've managed to accrue more net debt, but we have. But the projections still look fine anyway. I mean, basically, what you look at with Barcelona is if you want to manage a club where you're going to have obscene amount of money to spend, go with Barcelona. Get through the first couple of seasons where, I mean, you can't say 129 million is much of a restriction, but get through the first couple of seasons where there isn't a massive amount, but then you can just spend what you want. And they've got such a disgustingly good squad. If we have a look at who's still here from when we first joined, Balde out on the left is still here. Gavi and Pedri, obviously, and Lamine Yamal and Sifat. I mean, these 4, I don't know how we replace them because they are just the best players here. And there's not much out there that is actually better than them. But it is what it is. We really don't need to replace Openda up top. I really don't know. Other than the 3 we've already got in, I don't know who else I'm bringing in. So we are going to wait on players to leave before we bring anybody else back in. So, yeah, I think that's probably it for this episode. Oh, actually, before we go anywhere, the Dev Centre, we've had a youth intake. Come on. Hello. And basically, that's what we've been given. It's been okay. We've got 3 5-star potential players there, a defensive midfielder, striker, and a right inside forward. We've got a 4-star there on the attacking left, 3.5-star, and maybe a 3-star after that. At least we do have some players with some potential that we could try and do something with. I think that's really the most you can hope for with youth intakes in FM. So, yeah, join me back here next week for episode 4 of the season to see, A, who the 3 players are that I've already bought in, who else I'm going to bring in and who goes out as we continue to try and evolve this team. I don't think we can really call it a rebuild at this point. It's more the evolution of Barcelona and just how good can we become. Can we even go a season unbeaten in the league? Thank you very much for watching, folks. Join me next week and I'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.